Jeff Grubb.
Dan Reichert.
50 years. I have to assume that's what the 50 in the title is. 50
That's
years.
probably what it means. What is it? We'll do some math. 72. That seems right.
Well,
82?
maybe we'll learn
72.
some details about Atari's timeline here today in this quick look.
That seems unlikely. Why would you assume something like that? That's crazy.
Because
Dan.
I've looked at it and I learned a lot.
Oh.
Because this is before my time. I was born in 1984. I'm sure you've got a lot of memories, like college days tied to the Atari 2600.
Yeah, a lot happened in '83 for me. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so you can fill me in on your personal experiences, like, midnight releases for,
of course.
Crystal
Yes,
Castles or whatever, so.
Yeah, Bernie Stoller and me doing Blow, absolutely.
Exactly, yeah. Let's look into this here. This is really cool. Look, Grubb, you and I have probably played a billion Midway arcade collections or, legacy collections and things like that, and they're all fun. I enjoy those, but usually it's a collection of games, right?
Right. That is, you're coming there, and they are selling them because they believe that people just want to play a bunch of old games, and it's better if they're all in one thing. And I, for most part, that's what I do want. Although I think my taste on that may be changing. I think my expectations are a little bit higher these days.
Yeah, and I think this is a great example because if this were just that, I don't know how interesting I would find it because, look, I've played a lot of old Atari games. I've got a lot of different ways to play old Atari games. I've got a physical Atari that I could play, and I don't do it a lot because, honestly, I don't have nostalgia for the Atari or anything. But the history aspect of this collection is what is so remarkable, I think, because even as someone with no nostalgia for these games, I found this very, very interesting. Because take a look here. If you just want to play the games, I can hit Y right here from the main menu. Here you go. There's a timeline, sort by year.
Yeah.
Play the damn game. There you go. You can just skip ahead by year. That's it. Jaguar, Lynx, 2600, all that stuff. They've remade. We'll get to that in a second. But first, I want to show you the thing I think is so cool here. So it's got these different timeline categories here. You see arcade origins, birth of the console, highs and lows, the dawn of PCs, and the 90s and beyond. I'm not going to show every video or anything in here because honestly, part of the fun of this whole package is, watching these things and discovering it however you like to do it.
But there are videos. So this is, because this seems like it could just as easily be text, but no, there's more to it than that.
Oh, yeah. So, first of all, you got these really great scans of stuff, great pictures of things. Look at this fucking thing.
Yeah.
It looks like it's from a Lost in Space set.
Yeah, computer space. There it is. That's, that's the second video game, and it's a ripoff of, that's the one I always say, the second video game. When video games became pluralized, it was a copy. It was a complete clone of another thing.
Space War.
Video games. Yes,
1962.
Space War.
There you go, right there. And you got to learn
exactly.
that from this collection.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah. And so, if you want to, again, I'm not going to play all of these, but there are just full, well done interviews and everything, showing the history, going in. Here's Alcorn's business card. Should we try to call that? You think that still goes to Al?
Yeah, absolutely.
The scans here, everything done by Digital Eclipse is just incredible stuff here. So, yeah, there's old footage of Nolan Bushnell, talking, doing interviews and things like that. Lots of little quotes. And then, goes into Pong, obviously. And if you are scanning through this timeline view, you can, get all the information and videos and stuff. But you can also just hit X here and just play Pong. So it's very easy to hop in.
Wow, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I love this stuff. Any promotional flyers and things like that. There's tons of that in here.
I mean, this feels like what museums, if you were to try to digitize the concept of a museum and not just old, some of these old collections would have you physically walking through a 3D museum, and that was cute and I like that. This feels like museum level quality of the presentation of the information. That is fantastic.
Yeah, with the quotes and stuff you would normally see on plaques at a museum if you're walking through the Met or something like that. Cool stuff like that. I've never heard of Puppy Pong. It was something that they made a very limited run of and put it in pediatric waiting offices, waiting rooms. That was
incredible.
the plan for it. Yeah, and 1972. Here, I'll play a video or two once we get to it. But goddamn, I just love admiring all of this stuff here, seeing the flyers that would go out to the places that were trying to sell it to arcades and stuff like that. Look at this Gotcha. Have you heard of this?
No, actually.
Well, I hadn't either, but what made Gotcha controversial were the pink domes covering the joysticks, which were meant to resemble breasts. The game's Risque flyer extended the metaphor. So this is Gotcha. So basically it's the grab a boob game.
Cool. We'll play a little grab ass, play a little grab boob. Sure, yeah.
Yes. I don't know what the graphics of this game look like. Is Gotcha in here? I don't think Gotcha's in here. I'm sure it was very, very lewd. Then you got Touch Me. I think that's less
Okay.
aggressively sexual.
Mind challenging sound patterns. Okay.
Yeah, like I could go through all these, and man, I've gone through everything. Like just the high-res images and stuff of this shit.
It's
I
great.
am a sucker for this stuff. Interviews with Eugene Jarvis, all this pinball stuff. Backlar's feeling something right now. Some great fucking old art. A lot of this
I've been
old
spending
art.
a lot of time on like archive.org, just like looking at old video game magazines, and I love those scans. But that's, I have to go searching that stuff out, and it's obtuse, and some stuff's missing. This feels like, if someone were to make that a user-friendly experience, and I really, really appreciate that. This is just done by people who understand how to present video game history better than anyone else.
Yeah, 100%. And like down to like, look at this. This is a relationship between designers and management didn't go well. And at one point, the executive called the designers a bunch of high-string prima donnas in a newspaper interview. And so the designers printed out these shirts and wore them to work. Like, this type of shit is awesome, I think.
That rules.
Yeah. This is, oh, man. So here, let's watch. Did they do drugs at Atari? Let's watch this one.
2 seconds long, it just says yes.
You will hear stories of hot tubs in the lobby and drug use in the office. And I'm here to tell you that none of that happened in my department.
We started smoking pot right in our office. Rob and I were like the premier.
Todd.
Sorry, Rob.
Fucking Todd.
I and some other person who occasionally shared an office with me for 5 years at Atari, however that frickin' worked, we would just fire up right in the office. It's like, who knows why? It's like, this is like, it's illegal. It's like, it wasn't even a sense of privilege. It was just mindlessness.
I worked in a satellite office. I started in 1977, which was still pretty early. It was only 18 months since the 2600 came out. But there was no hot tub in the lobby of the office that I went to. There was no drug use in Atari, though I don't doubt that it was.
They were hiding it from
Howard
you.
and Todd Fry were working.
Drugs were consumed at Atari by all kinds of people.
Hell yeah, Howard Scott Warshaw.
Management from the bottom to the top and all over engineering. Not everybody did drugs, but some people did, and some people enjoyed them, and some people abused them, and some people went to the hospital on them. And but by and large, drugs were a relatively
The attitude era of game development.
factor. Drugs, there was a lot of marijuana, and it participated a lot in brainstorming. So we had the way of, trying to incorporate drugs into our productivity.
Just sitting around smoking weed and thinking about Atari games.
Hell
A little
yeah.
bit of cocaine, a little bit of psilocybin.
Fucking Todd.
It was like half gone when I realized, oh, you could do that. So I put it out, and I went and I wrote a page of notes. And my design for that kernel was exactly what it ended up shipping. It was like it was a tremendous amount of effort, actually, to get everything organized.
They did have good deliveries of cannabis in the inter-office mail. That was probably the primary use of those yellow manila envelopes. I think it was Fridays or Monday. I think it was Fridays when you get these really thick envelopes coming through the system. And it was weird. There was a guy working there, and his job was he was the weed dealer. That was his sole job at the whole company.
Atari weed
And there
dealer.
was a very straight German VP.
It was also Nolan Bushnell.
Yes. Yeah.
He complained to management about the smell of pot smoke in the corridors. So they got him an office in a different building.
I've been asthmatic since I've been 12.
So that's an example of like the type of video. Like a lot of them are really just kind of fun, lighthearted. A ton of them are
That's real
super
fun.
informational. Like it makes me like imagine if they did this for like Nintendo.
Yes. I mean,
That would be
midway
amazing.
in the 90s, right? Like you occasionally hear like Lang will tell a story about them working on a Blitz the League, and then the NFL shows up and it says like "fuck Madden" everywhere, and they're like, "Oh God, you got to scrub those off the walls." Like,
Yes.
I need those stories presented like this. Absolutely,
100%.
Yeah.
Check this out. So this is so Touch Me. I think we saw the ad for it earlier, but they released like a handheld version of it here. So it's like a handheld, Simon type thing. But check this out. You can just fucking go in here, and
so
I can just
cool.
play this here. So
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah. So it's like the face buttons here. Which one's which? Let's start. Skill. Okay, yeah. So XA. So yeah. Okay, so B. Got it. Okay, got it. It's like Bubsy.
It's just like Bubsy. I mean, almost as good.
Yeah, almost. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I got 5.
This really is the extra kind of stuff that you need to set these kinds of collections apart at this point.
Oh yeah,
especially for Atari games. I mean, we're just at a point, like even NES, I've heard from collectors recently, the NES market has started to kind of fall apart, and people aren't interested in NES. I mean, obviously, if you have a rated copy of Super Mario Brothers, whatever, sure. Those are selling for a lot. But you know, for the most part, it's falling apart. Like, people just don't care about NES games the way they used to. Atari's like way past that point. And so it's like you really do have to go an extra mile to show it in context so we can understand its history, because that gives it the gravitas that it needs to really put it in context of like why it's important.
Well, yeah, and at this point, it's so easy to play any old game. Like, anybody with a passing interest in playing old games, whether official or unofficial, it's very fucking easy.
I mean, you don't even need to like install it. You can just go to your browser and play a lot of these things right in your browser.
Yeah, it's so easy now. So I think that is why this is so cool to see them go the extra mile with this. Because, like, again, I don't look twice at this if it's just, here's a way to play fucking Missile Command and Warlords, you know?
Yes.
But if it's giving me fucking flyers and, like, direct, like, high-res cover art and stuff like that, like, this shit I think is awesome. And I think you and I are from the same cloth of, like, we will go through old PDFs of EGMs and Game Informers from 1995 and stuff like that. And I think this really satisfies my curiosity about the time, you know, before I was a kid and looking into that stuff. Like, this shit is awesome.
Same.
Yeah, so... That's this. There is a lot to go through. You know, plenty of videos, plenty of cool art and everything, and flyers to look at. Like, this shit's just awesome. So, if you are into that, look.
It seems like speedy. There's no delay in loading. Everything just kind of works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Good. And I had no idea it was going all the way into like Jaguar and Lynx stuff and everything. Because like this is now we're in the era that like I remember. So we start seeing ads. Oh, yeah, I did too. Yeah, the schematics and stuff. Seeing the ads, we'll probably see some here where it's like, hey, fuck you, Game Gear. Like, check this out, you know? Oh, hang on. I got to play Ninja Golf. Have you seen Ninja Golf?
No, I've not.
All right, let's play Ninja Golf for the 7800.
All right.
It's another thing. I didn't really know what the hell the 7800 was. In collecting old games, I've gotten some 7800 cards, and I'm like, I only ever hear people talk about the 2600, but this was like their 1990 one, you know?
Yeah, this was the thing that they said no to Nintendo. Nintendo's like, hey, can you distribute the NES in the United States and the rest of the world? And they're like, listen, we got the 7800 coming along, and it's going to be way better than the NES. We don't need you.
Yeah.
I wonder how that worked out.
This one might be pretty good. So let's...
I'm sure there's some good games on the 7800. This looks like fun.
Well, check this out. So you hit the fucking ball. And then you got to run to your own ball and fight ninjas on the way.
I mean, this is what Mario Golf's like Super Rush should have been.
Yes, exactly.
Just had like a fighting game mechanic in it.
Yeah. So yeah, on the bottom, you see that's how I'm doing the like golf strokes and stuff. I'm here.
Incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really cool. It's a fun idea. There's also Mecha Robot Golf on Super Nintendo. I love them just trying to like, you know, jazz up golf with like ninjas and robots and shit. It's like, you could just have golf.
No drugs involved in the creation of this one.
Yeah. Was it a late Tiger Woods one or a post Tiger Woods one where EA's game, like in the 2010s, was like, oh, there's going to be exploding battleships and it's like Danger Golf or something. Do you remember that?
There was like, I mean, I don't know if you're thinking of Outlaw Golf, the one that was
no. I'm talking about the Sim EA golf game.
Okay,
like
no, I don't remember
either Tiger
that,
Woods or successor to Rory McIlroy or whatever. It had a fucking mode where it was like action golf or something. And
hell yeah, no, I bet they have that in there. That sounds like something they would definitely try.
Do you have a Born to Dribble tattoo?
I remember this ad. I'll tell you that much. I remember seeing this thing in magazines.
It reminds me of Bill Lambier's combat basketball ads. Let's see, Scrapyard Dog. This fucking guy. I don't know if you heard of this. They had a Lynx version and the 7800. They said the Lynx version is the superior one. So let's check out Scrapyard Dog for the Lynx.
Oh man,
the box art. Oh, yeah, it has like 3D boxes and stuff that you can rotate around.
Oh, yeah,
and-
that's just fantastic. And that's, I love you can just jump right into the games because you're curious about it and it links right to it. That's awesome.
Oh, they just get shot immediately? What? Wait, I guess
no.
it's the start of the game. That's like the Double Dragon.
Yeah, it's the cutscene. Yeah.
Yeah. Got the dog. Find us if you want to see him again, Mr. Big.
Mr. Big from Sex in the City?
Yeah, that's him. As you could probably expect with a game like this, it's also, or with a collection like this, you've got your standard assortment,
Right.
like screen modes, you can turn your filters on and off, stuff like that, borders, all that business. I actually find all the stuff they have on by default to be pretty good. Normally, I don't do like filters and stuff like that, but like this is a Lynx game, it would
Right.
look like this,
Absolutely. They've gotten really good at their filters too, as Digital Eclipse, Other Ocean, right? They've gotten really smart about what those filters should look like, especially the LCD ones for handhelds.
Yeah. So yeah, all this shit just looks awesome. Keep going through some Jaguar here. Yeah, so this is the like box art stuff I was talking about. These like 3D scans.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a redesigned Lynx. I didn't realize they did that. But you could like flip it and play it left-handed?
Yeah, right. They had the same controls on each side, so you could flip it over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I love this shit.
Just like the Virtual Boy.
Yes, yeah. Oh man, I just remember seeing all these ads as a kid and just poring over all the games and being like, okay, do I want this? Like, is this worth it?
Rampage
Like,
is always the one that stuck out to me down there. In that area. Yeah.
God damn it, I love this shit.
Yeah.
That's just straight up the Bill Lambert's Combat Basketball cover from that same angle.
Honestly, it could be the same game.
Right.
Because that game was like white labeled a bunch of times.
Oh yeah. $79.99 for a Lynx. My God. Look at that actual size. Fuck you, Game Boy and Game Gear.
Join the Lynx revolution.
This shit wire bats flying out of your head. What is he playing?
And those
bleeding out of the
Bret
neck.
the Hitman Hart sunglasses.
Hell yeah. God damn it, this shit's cool. Got the Jaguar coming in. They really tried to bamboozle you with the whole 64-bit thing.
Right, yeah. It's just a straight up lie, right?
Yeah, so here
Actually,
is...
go to the top. I want to read that, the Jaguar description.
Yeah.
It's like, let's see, the world's first 64-bit gaming, and that's in quotation marks, system in an attempt to leapfrog the 32-bit game machines that were beginning to be released. Its launch price was $250, and it used cartridges rather than CD-ROMs.
Well,
I was
the reality is this.
Yeah, okay, yes. Although the Jaguar was advertised as a 64-bit system, in actuality, it was powered by two 32-bit processors nicknamed Tom and Jerry. That's like what like the Saturn, but kind of way worse.
Yeah, and I remember being a kid and like people trying to explain that to me and being like, so they're lying about being 64-bit? And I look at this controller and I'm like, I don't know about this shit. Like, this does not look comfortable at all.
I was just like, I remember like being worried about, as being a little Nintendo fanboy, being worried about the Saturn and PlayStation. And being like, well, if there's going to be any real competition, it's going to come from the Jaguar. Atari's been doing it forever. And I'm like, I never touched the thing. I never played the thing in real life. But it's just like, that's where, 64 bits, that's a lot more.
Yeah. I always felt that it's like, oh, Sony thinks they can come into video games. Microsoft thinks they can come into video games. Like, no, it's Nintendo, Sega, Atari.
That's right. Yep.
But we were never this kid.
They're very great at handling change. Yeah, this guy. Yep.
This is why we weren't cool, Grubb.
Yep.
We weren't this guy.
We weren't this guy with his Oregon and UCLA hats and his California license plate.
With his Gizmo from Gremlins sticker on his toolbox, he's got a Gizmo sticker.
Well,
he's got a snowboard behind. He's got his sports trophies next to his Atari. he's got a snowboard.
A stolen speed limit sign. Hell yeah. This guy a little criminal.
A football team thing there. Oh, he's got a date up there. He's got a prom date. Look, this is a cool fucking kid. He's got naked or partially naked ladies on his. He's got a Far Side page a day calendar. This is a cool fucking dude right here.
Oh man, all he needs
I
is
want
the
an interview
race car
with this
bed.
guy. On this.
Absolutely. Man. He's also not even looking at the game. He is totally looking past it. That game was pasted on later.
Oh yes. So yeah, they go into like, because of that fucked up like phone pad thing on the controller, games would come with these overlays like per game.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, here's the Trevor McFur overlay. Like, what the fuck?
What?
Look at this fucking art. Jesus.
Yes. Oh my God, that game would fucking crush today. It would make so much money. This would be like a top indie game of the year.
Yes. Let's try Trevor McFur in the Crescent Galaxy. God, Jaguar had a weird look to the graphics. Like it's just like
yeah, right. It feels like if you only made 2D games for the N64 and they were all educational, hell yes. Oh, that's awesome.
Eat shit, Star Fox.
I'm gonna get that tattoo. Actually, this man, Corporal McFur.
And then it's just this fucking Defender ass,
Yep.
like,
Right,
but it looks like
feels like a Mac game. It feels like an educational Mac game.
yes, 100%. God damn it, that's awesome.
Yeah, that rules.
Yeah, like all these covers, fucking Dino dudes.
This is great that it goes all the way up to the Jaguar. I guess I
Yes.
wasn't expecting that either.
Yeah, I had no idea until I started playing this. This is great. Malibu bikini volleyball, of course. Here's the type of shit. Now, this is fully my era. That, like, you can just put Mario and Sonic in your fucking ad.
Yeah,
Like, that's just straight up Mario art,
right. Like they probably could have got sued for that, but
right?
I don't know.
Like these are the
That's
ads
like-
though I
that's
would
like-
see.
That's like
and I'd be
Mario. That's like Yoshi's Cookies, straight up
Yeah.
clip art that they're like they just
100%.
lifted. It's not like they recreated it or anything. They just, man, yeah, weird.
You can't just put a C with a circle around it, I don't think. You have to like oh, the Tiny Toons game. Yeah, see, I probably would have liked playing that. Like, I would look at these ads and be like, man, it's 3D, it's 64-bit, and they're making fun of Mario and Sonic. I like Mario and Sonic. And Lynx kicks their butts. Okay, Lynx has a 3.5-inch screen, but Game Gear has a 3.2. 4,000 colors, but Game Boy has 2. Oh, man. This is some real Nintendo stuff going on.
Yep.
There you go. Fun factor.
As
Wait.
seen in Game Pro.
What's the... Because they didn't do hardware reviews. What game?
Well, it's got to be that game Warbirds right there, right?
Straight fives?
I don't believe it myself. I'm gonna look it up.
Is Bram Stoker's Dracula? Awesome. I'm gonna put
Google.
Bram Stoker's Dracula for the links.
Yeah, that's the only way to experience Bram Stoker's pivotal novel is via the links.
It's the most 1994 phrase I can imagine is Bram Stoker's Dracula on the Atari links.
Links. All right, Game Pro Warbirds links review.
Fuck is the screenshot? What is that? That's Tempest.
That's definitely Tempest. That looks hella Tempest.
So does that. Look at this dude.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Price drop. Yeah, okay, so now we're in like 95, so I'm in full on, like, oh god, Super and Sega aren't going to be around forever. What am I getting next? Jesus.
Game Pro gave it a 24 out of 25, so it means it didn't get 5 from like one person, I guess, or in like one category.
I think there might have been some cheating on that.
So I think they did the 4 categories they got a 5 in, and they left out the 5th one where they only got a 4 out of 5.
That's what they did. Yep.
Yes.
What is this fucking ad? Is that the jungle? Okay. I guess Jaguar,
Yeah,
jungle,
what is
okay.
happening there?
Yeah, this is just a... What?
It's just visual nonsense.
Yeah, what is this shit?
I said like it's like when your graphics card breaks, and they're like, "Yeah, just go with that."
Yes. Oh man, $100 in software included for free. VidGrid, Tempest the soundtrack, Blue Lightning, and the demo of Myst. All right. Jesus.
You know what? I was gonna get if I had my Steam Deck near me, I was gonna see how this ran on there. I bet it runs fine.
I distinctly remember this ad.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
Yep, me too.
Yep. If you're smart enough to see the elephant, you can figure out that you're dumb if you buy the other controllers or other consoles.
And that Jaguar controller is truly an abomination.
I see why Backler likes pinball so much. This shit's cool.
Yeah, it's just like if you could play metal album art, which does explain why Backler likes it so much.
Yes. I feel like I saw some of these type of displays in front of like EB Games in the mall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Babbage's.
Like you walk in, and then you walk in the store, and like there's not much more to it than that. It's just the display, and then you have to like talk to the person about Jaguar CD, and I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna go over the Super Nintendo games.
Yes, exactly. Oh, here's our boy. There he is. Perfectly framing his fucking Ghostbusters blurred out logo DeLorean.
He's not even he's sitting in front of a JPEG of it. It's like he's on a green screen.
Is he?
You know, with a
Yes.
message.
Yeah?
It was
Yes.
profound. And the first time that it ever happened.
Wow, are you serious?
And so,
Wait, no, the whole the whole frame's
Okay,
moving.
the whole thing shook. Man, is he just in the corner of his garage?
Yes, he wants to show his fucking car for the Atari collection.
Oh my god.
Tell us some poetry. He turned on his cards doing the fucking Knight Rider lights.
His gold
God
content.
damn it. And then they got Bushnell too. So
There. Oh yeah.
yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, this is pretty fucking cool here. Let's see, I feel like there's
That
something else.
Eugene Jarvis about the drugs clip. He was wearing a Raw Thrills shirt. Does he work at Raw Thrills? Did he make Cruise and Blast?
I think that's his place. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
So check this out too. One other thing I want to show before we call it here is that not only is there all this shit from, you see the timeline up there, 94, 95, 96. Look at this. So at a certain point, it goes to 2007. They released the game for the Atari 800. And then 2022. So they made or remade or updated certain games for this collection. So check this out. So platform, Atari Reimagined. Let's go into Yar's Revenge here. And so check it out. Modern visuals and a driving soundtrack enhance this Digital Eclipse tribute to Howard Scott Warshaw's classic Atari.
I played the standalone version of this because it was I Love Yar's Revenge.
Oh, so you played the updated version?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and it's pretty good.
Well, yeah. So they mention in that blurb that like they actually didn't change the gameplay at all. In fact, it is running over. Like you can do the like Halo collector or the Master Chief Collection thing where you just do this. Like that shit is awesome. I think.
That looks great. That's so cool.
Yeah, so with a button press, just boom, you can just see it's just running off the exact
There was
same
a
shit.
new Yar's Revenge sort of spiritual successor. That's what I played. That's what I'm remembering now.
Yeah, I think this is brand new.
Yeah, this is brand new. Okay, yes.
And then there's stuff here where it's like, where's this vector sector thing? Okay, so check this out. This is a Digital Eclipse tribute to Atari's vector games. So it takes inspiration from Asteroids, Lunar Lander, Tempest, and more in a remixed shooter that honors the legacy. So check this out. It starts out by basically Asteroids. And but it's actual like twin stick, like, you know, Robotron type, you know.
That
So
was really
this
good,
feels,
though. They're doing a good job of like capturing the vector screen.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
And there's also like every other version of Asteroids is on here. So I've played like 4 different versions of Asteroids that are on this. And it's so cool seeing the difference between like, oh, wow, here's this like chunky, you know, 2600 version. And here's this. Now, let me show you what they do here once I beat a level. Ugh. This feels really good playing with 2600. So it does this, and then your same ship gets brought in to basically be in Lunar Lander.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Yeah, and so it just kind of cycles through different games.
That's fun.
Yeah. So
I mean, these are like some of my favorite games that they did, Lunar Lander and Asteroids. And yeah, go ahead and combine those. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so like we're talking about the extra mile, like my God, they're really just going nuts. And they've got like hidden things here, and they'll have hints on like, ooh, to find this prototype, you know, reimagine tanks. What are you waiting for? And so it's like, okay, does that mean I have to play like a tank game with 4 players? And then I'll unlock this one, you know? So, man, this is just, you couldn't have done it better. Here's
Yeah,
prototypes.
I really think so.
Yeah, unreleased prototypes of different games and stuff like that. It's you know, all the talk of game preservation and stuff, like I feel pretty strongly about that, and I think this is just such a obvious labor of love that I can't help but really respect this.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, but I hope that they make a statement with this to such a degree that other companies are like, well, we have a history, we should get the same treatment, and we could just go to this team and have them do it. Because, you know, at a certain point, stop holding on to this stuff for no apparent reason, hand it over to a team that is going to be able to do right by it, and let's get this stuff preserved once and for all. Like, this is just too good not to replicate with Nintendo and Sega and everyone else.
Yep. Oh my God, either of those, Nintendo or Sega, I would fucking love. Like, it's tough because like I know Nintendo is they're very controlling of their legacy and IP and everything. So like I don't think they would just hand it over. But I would love to see, you know, their take on something like this with this amount of love. So
I would too.
That is Atari 50, the anniversary celebration, and yeah, if you can't tell, I am very into what Digital Eclipse pulled out here, and I think it's important and cool and fascinating, even if you don't necessarily have the nostalgia for the company. Jeff Grubb.
Dan Reichert, thanks for showing me around.
Thank you. I'll see ya.